Hello everyone, welcome to the land of South Korean cinema. Today's video is sponsored by Lee Jae-hoon. I wish. But I really enjoyed his performance in Taxi Driver, so let's talk about one of his movies, An Ethics Lesson or 분노의 윤리학. Also, thank you for the recommendation, my friend. You know who you are. The movie has an incredible cast consisting of Lee Jae-hoon, Kwak Do-won, last time I saw him in The Man Standing Next, Kim Tae-hoon, Cho Jin-woong, he starred in a really weird movie last year called Me and Me, and Moon So-ri, who was absolutely fantastic in the movie Oasis. A young college girl is murdered in her apartment. Her death affects 4 people around her. Her neighbor, who's wiretapping her house and is a policeman, her ex-boyfriend who killed her current lover who is married, and the loan shark who wants his money back. And slowly these 4 lives are intertwining in the weirdest way possible. If I had to summarize this movie in one word, I would say it's unique. It's a thriller, but there really isn't any other movie quite like this. At least I haven't seen one. But it doesn't mean that the movie doesn't have its influences. While there's a very serious undertone throughout the whole movie, certain scenes are bizarrely humorous. This approach is definitely Tarantino-esque, although Tarantino writes better dialogues. But An Ethics Lesson is much better paced than Tarantino's movies. It's a much more plot-driven movie. It constantly moves forward. Slowly, but constantly. This humorous approach can also be found in director Park Chan-wook's works as well. If you saw Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, for example, you know what I mean. Certain situations are really funny, but it's really hard to laugh at them because the subtext is very serious. I like this kind of approach. The cinematography, especially the transitional shots, remind me of David Fincher's work, but the atmosphere is completely different. Actually, I realized something halfway through that has a lot to do with the movie's atmosphere, and it can be a strength and a weakness at the same time. Almost the whole movie is filmed in very small, confined spaces. In small apartment rooms, in a car, in narrow hallways, you get the idea. The movie has a suffocating, uncomfortable atmosphere because of this. It feels like the walls are closing in on you. It's a great idea actually, because overall this is a pretty dialogue-heavy movie. I'm not saying that things are not moving along or that things are not happening, but it's also not an unstoppable thrill ride. And the way the movie is filmed helps in keeping the audience on their toes, subconsciously. And it's all thanks to these small, confined, uncomfortable places. Actually, the cinematography is very clever here. It's also a unique movie because it's very easy to get invested in the story, and it's impossible to care about any character. The movie being called An Ethics Lesson is no coincidence. There are no decent people here. Someone is just less of a villain compared to someone else. In a sense, the film is massively psychological, showing the darker side of human nature, showing how we justify our bad decisions and bad actions and how these things affect our lives. It also shows how hard it is to go beyond what we think is right. Because nobody likes to be wrong, right? And sometimes we don't admit to our wrongdoings even on our deathbeds. This is some heavy shit. Now, although the characters are terrible people, the actors are really great at selling these characters. The movie is filled with incredible performances. Lee Jae-hoon is a policeman, and interestingly enough, he's the weakest character in the movie. Which is really interesting because he's supposed to have some authority and he has none. Like I said, it's a unique movie. But my 2 favorites were Kwak Do-won as the girl's lover and Cho Jin-woong as the loan shark. Kwak Do-won is probably the closest to a normal human being in the movie, and he's the only character one could feel a little sympathy for. I rarely see Kwak Do-won play such a vulnerable character. He did that in The Wailing too, and he was awesome. But Cho Jin-woong, man, he's absolutely over the top here, but he's so good, it's just ridiculous. This is probably his best performance I've ever seen, and I've never seen him do a slacker job before. He really elevates the movie to another level. Objectively speaking, the movie really isn't flawed in any way, it's the characters that are flawed. But like I said, the movie can be really suffocating because of the way it's filmed, and it's both a blessing and a curse. And also, like I said, it's not a thrill ride. Things are unfolding slowly to a fantastic ending, but the road there can be boring at times, especially during the first act. And also, there are no likable characters here, which makes this movie a harder nut to crack. But if you want to see a movie that is truly unique despite its influences, I highly recommend An Ethics Lesson for you. The storytelling is also unique. Sometimes you watch a scene, and the next scene shows the whole thing from another character's perspective. And it all comes together in a beautifully bizarre finale. I really enjoyed this movie, and I praise its uniqueness. I'm gonna give An Ethics Lesson 85%. If you like thrillers or you wanna see something original, here's your chance. 여러분, 오늘은 여기까지만 해요. 영상 봐주셔서 감사합니다. 이 영상 좋아하면 구독해주세요. 그리고 좋아요 버튼 눌러주세요. See you very soon. 다음 시간에 만나요, 여러분. 안녕히 계세요.